Hello and welcome to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. Today I'll be talking to Tania all the way from Edmonton, Canada. I'm excited to talk to her to understand the issues of dealing with being a plus size model and being a motivational speaker. She's dealt with this gracefully. She's a motivational speaker, she's a model, she's empowering many women out there to show them it doesn't matter what your body size is, you need to embrace it, love who you are, and find your inner joy. Let's meet Tania to understand how she does this. Welcome to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. I am absolutely delighted to have Tania here, all the way from Edmonton, Canada. She's here to talk to me about being curvy and an advocate for other women out there. And also, we'll be talking about other issues that are currently going on in the world. How do you find your joy? Tania, how are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me. I was so excited when you invited me to join you.
Oh no, I had to because I saw your page on Instagram and I was so blown away because what really took me aback with your page is just how graceful and how openly you talk about key issue affecting so many women out there. But you put your page out and you're not afraid to talk about those issues. And you talk about being a plus size model, you talk about mentoring others who are going through similar situation. Before we get into all of that, can you tell us a little bit about who is Tania?
Oh my goodness. That's a deep question. Well, I would say I now in my life, I am an empty nester. My kids just grown and I am now starting over. I recently have been separated for a year now, just leaving a 22-year marriage. So I am kind of like at a rebirth time in my life right now where I am growing again and finding who I am at this point in my life. So it's kind of a exciting and scary time right now for me.
Wow. You will never know that because you're such a delightful person to look at. You wear a smile and you wear it so gracefully. Can you just tell us a little bit about why you decided to go on that path of being a plus size model and why you thought it was needed?
Well, I actually didn't set out to become a plus size model. I actually have a plus size women's clothing website called Curvy to Curvy. And I started my Instagram to the Tanya Turner Instagram to help boost up my business. Just the way the algorithms work on Instagram, it's better to boost yourself as an individual than as a business just because of the way that it works. So I thought, okay, I will start boosting Tanya Turner in curvy to curvy clothes. And all of a sudden, I thought, well, I have this platform, and I started to gain an audience really quickly. I thought, okay, this is a platform. I didn't understand the power of Instagram at first. And then once I realized the power and the reach of Instagram, I realized that this is an amazing platform for me to share with other women part of my story, about being a plus size woman and putting myself out there and unapologetically being me.
Wow. Was it very difficult for yourself at the beginning when you decided to take this on to say, okay, I'm going to put myself out there and not apologize about who I am? Was that a difficult? Because there's so many women out there I know who are so afraid because of the way media, although media is now changing and trying to incorporate different
Mhm.
sizes. Was that difficult for you at first?
I mean, when you put yourself out there for judgment, it's always difficult. I mean, even now, sometimes when, like there's always trolls on the internet that have nothing better to do to say something, take time out of their day to say something nasty to a stranger. It sometimes hits you hard, especially if it's a deep rooted insecurity. It kind of, you take a moment and it might sting, like, but not like before. Like when I really am confident now as a woman in my body, so it doesn't really bother me. And I'm lucky. I don't get a lot of negativity on there. But the thing is when you put yourself out there like this, there is that chance that it might not be positive, and you have to be able to realize that no matter what, I mean, you can be any shape and size. You could be skinny, you could have the perfect, symmetrical face, you can have everything. And someone might think that, your chin's too big, or, your ears are too large, or your hair's not right. You're never going to please everyone. And the truth is you shouldn't try to please everyone. The only person you need to please is yourself. And when you look at yourself and you accept yourself, there's a lot of power in that. And that's what I wanted to convey to other women, that once you decide that you, which you already are beautiful and wonderful and uniquely you and imperfectly you, it's such a relief not to think about having to please everyone when you're putting yourself out there in the real world.
No, it's absolutely so true, because a lot of times we sit back and we try to please other people, not realizing that actually we should think about ourselves, think about making ourselves happy. Throughout your
Yeah.
journey of just being Tania, where were the difficult time of your life that you realized that okay, this is a challenging time and challenging phase I'm going through, and how did you manage to find joy along the line?
Okay. Well, I think I've always been a bigger person. Like, I grew up in small town, rural Alberta, close to where your husband came from. I was from Vermilion, and in that small town, like, I was different. I was different than other people. I was bigger than the average girl. So I was considered fat. So, and I look back now and I see how warped that really is. But at the time, it was very real to me. Even though I was an athlete, even though I was very much into performing arts, and that my insecurity level was so high, I stopped performing. Like, I used to be in a band and I quit doing that. I got so worried about people looking at me and how they were judging me that I did not want to stand out on stage. I didn't want to act. I didn't want to do all those things because I was so concerned about, not that people would be looking at my talent, but that they would be looking and judging my body and my appearance, and that they wouldn't see past that and see my talent. So I stopped doing that. And I realized, like, looking back now, like, how damaging our thoughts like that are, especially in our teens. And it moved into my 20s as well. Like, insecure to try new things, and just that judgment of, oh, like, will I look fat doing that? Like, just, do I look fat wearing that? Like, I really like that, but ooh, what if someone thinks I don't look great in it? And I mean, sometimes, and just those voices of people in your life that have no significance really in your life, that have said something negative to you, that really seated deep in your mind. I can remember in high school, this boy said to me one time, like, don't he's like, oh gosh, like, your hips are way too big to wear jeans like that. And I stopped wearing jeans. And someone had said to me, like, one time I had my hair up and like a ponytail, and someone said, like, like, your forehead's way too big to wear a pony like that. And like silly things like that, that just really changed my thoughts. And for years and years, I let those particular, just one or two people, have such an influence on my thoughts and what I did and how I presented myself. And I realized, looking back now, how much I missed out on doing because I was self-conscious. And I just wish that is my message I want to, like, tell young girls and teens and 20-year-olds, that it doesn't even matter. I want to tell all women, but at those particular ages, because you have the world in front of you and you have all the opportunity, and it's just to let your appearance and your size dictate what you can accomplish is just, it's wrong. It's so wrong.
I agree. It's absolutely wrong. I think in anything you do, it could be you being plus size. It could be you have a chronic illness, but not letting whatever circumstances you found yourself in to
Hmm.
determine how you move forward, to determine who you truly are. And I think a lot
Right.
of us spend so much, almost 90% of our time, dwelling on those negative rather than focusing that 90% on our time on the positive side, and looking at the joy that's even just being you has
Yeah.
bringing to others. How did you find the joy of being Tanya? How did you find that courage, that, because it takes a lot. I know with my chronic illness, when I was always severely sick, it was someone who told me, whispered a word in my ear to say, oh, you have to stop feeling pity in yourself. But in your case, how did you do it? How did you find that joy?
Well, I think when I got married, I had, in the beginning, I had a really wonderful marriage. I had a supportive husband, and that really did help. It gave me that safe place to start really like loving myself the way someone else was loving me. It was just like, so I started to really focus on what makes me happy. And all through my life, fashion has been an important part of that. And I always got compliments on my outfits, no matter, where I was. So, but, you get those backwards compliments like, like you have great style or you have a pretty face, like, but like they go around the fact that like it would be better if you were skinnier, but like it's nice, So I just started thinking, I'm not the only plus size woman out here in the world. Like there's so many of us. And over the years, I raised a daughter, and my daughter was never big. She's very athletic, very fit, very tall, like her father. But still, like when you're going through those teen years, no matter what size you are, the mind and influences from the outside really can warp your thoughts. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't raising her in a diet culture household. So I was not always constantly on diets and like obsessed about my weight. Because I thought, if I'm obsessed about that, and if I'm telling her that that's important, then she's going to, in return, even more so than she's already influenced from the media and the outside sources, that this is an important focused issue that we should be worried about constantly. So I decided not to do that. And I did, and you know what? And I thought, I'm happy in my life. Like, why would I need to be any different to be happier than I am right now? And so that was a big realization that like I didn't need to be skinny to be happy. As long as I was fit and like I could do the things that I wanted to do and I was healthy, then that was what made me happy. I wanted to do the things that I wanted to do, and like it wasn't like a number or a size. It was just a mindset of being happy.
Wow. You talk about being fit, because now I don't know what's happening in Canada right now. In the UK, we're currently in lockdown. How do you, when you're plus size, try to stay fit and healthy? How do you do that? Even people who are normal size also have to work on it. What are the
Hmm.
and tips you give to people, especially now, this crucial time where there's nothing to really do with whatever to especially when people say, yeah, you could do X, Y, Z. It's very difficult to do all of that. How do you
Yeah.
stay fit and healthy during a process like this?
That I will have to say, I have to admit 100%, it has been tough this year. Like, because for me, I was very like active in doing things before COVID hit. And like, so my activity level was doing things like being out, going dancing, like just, I'm not a gym person. So, it was being out in the world, actually living and doing activities was my fitness. So coming into quarantine, I found that it's been hard because I haven't really done anything. I just started again because I'm like, I know myself that I'm not feeling my best at this point physically, so I need to like get active again. So you can't really tell, but off camera here, like I have an elliptical going now. So like, I'm starting to get back into doing things, and like just simple things like just getting active every single day, whether it's depending where you are in the world, if you're allowed to go out for walks. Some people, if they're in deep quarantine, aren't, but just getting some physical activity during the day. Like I said, now for me, I'm doing my elliptical. I have weights that I have when I'm, watching the election results. I'm like trying to keep my, just doing a little something, like doing what you love, right? the
Mm.
thing is if you do something you don't enjoy, you're not going to stick to it. So, I mean, whether you're big or small, if you're not enjoying it, you're probably not going to stick at it. And honestly, for me, it's always been easier when I've had like someone else to hold me accountable for it. So having like someone that we can talk to at the end of the day and be like, did you do your 15, 20 minutes of cardio today? Did you, holding you accountable. So just making sure that you do something. And if you need accountability, that's okay. Some of us do need accountability. Not everybody's got that push to like self-discipline. So I would say get yourself someone to be a partner with. And you can virtually work out now. There's so many options.
Yes.
Like now there's so many Zoom classes,
Mm.
Instagram live classes. Like there's just so much out there that you can join in on that you might not have had the opportunity to do before. Like, and too, working out, you can work out with your favorite celebrity now. You too, like they go live on Instagram and you can do yoga with them or whatever they're doing at the time. So there's options, definitely. I mean, I definitely did not do it in the beginning of quarantine, but now that I realize that we're here for probably a lot longer now,
Yes.
that I need to alter what I'm doing and get active again from my home.
No, I absolutely agree. It's so important that it doesn't matter what circumstances we find ourselves, but utilizing the little opportunities we have. You might not have a very big house, weather, but just, there's little tricks and things you could do just to get the heart rate moving and get yourself fit rather than just sitting down there. And I notice when you sit down there, you also, your mindset as well, that goes to your mindset as well. You start feeling a little depressed, a little anxious about everything going on in the world. But I notice when you're
Mhm.
active and busy, that lessens that anxiousness. With
Absolutely.
everything going on in your life right now, how are you finding peace? You talked about, you're about to get divorced, separated right now. How do you find peace in being, you're looking so well. Anyone who looks at you just, you know, immediately I saw you, I was like, wow, this would be a delightful
Oh,
conversation you could
that's so sweet. Thank
no, no,
you.
no. So I always imagine that, you look so happy and everything. How do you find that peace within yourself?
Well, I mean, it's been a tough few years. I mean, I've had the last 7 years have been crazy in my life.
Mm.
I've gone through so many things. I have a mentally ill brother who has schizophrenia, and he took my father's life, and we had we had so much going on for like 5 years of going. He was in court for that, and all those things were happening, and I found that really stressful. And just in that time, I really had to dig deep and find the things that brought me joy, because it's so easy when negative things are happening in your life to let them consume you. And once I realized that it's so hard to get out from the bottom, that I never wanted to never wanted to make myself be there again. So I always think now when I start to feel depressed or sad, it's
Mm.
like, okay, Tanya, you can go to the pity party, but you can't stay there. You
Yeah,
can you can just be a guest for a few minutes and have your moment, get it out, because you have to go through those. You can't hold it in. You have to go through that emotion that you're feeling. Suppressing it's not going to help, but don't let yourself stay there. And because it's so dangerous to stay in that negative mind space. So I really decided, I actually started to wear this bracelet that said, choose happiness. And just like reminded myself, like any of those times that I felt like everything was too overwhelming, I I was like, it's a choice, Tanya. You can choose to dwell on the negative, or you can look at all the amazing things in your life you have to be grateful for, which are many. Like no matter what your circumstance, there's something to be grateful in your life for, and that's what you focus on. You just focus on all those good things. And then as we got through that crisis, then I had found out that my husband was having extramarital affairs, and that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I had just come out of the fog, and that one hurt. That one actually hurt me a lot worse than I never thought anything would be so painful as what I had just gone through. But that kind of betrayal that hurt really bad, and it hit my self-esteem like extremely hard, because I started to question, like, where did I go wrong as a wife, as a partner? Like, what was I not giving my husband that he needed? And then I went through that process, and then I realized that after, I'm the kind of person who just starts reading things because I don't know where to begin to, like, it's new to me. I don't know, like, this is it's not in there. I don't know how to deal with it. So I start looking for the answers, like, how can I make myself feel better? Because I feel so terrible right now. And I think the biggest thing I realized is that when I realized and I didn't take responsibility for what happened, it wasn't my decision. It wasn't anything I did or didn't do. This was an external decision made that just happened to affect me very deeply. So once I realized that it wasn't my fault, then I was able to kind of come above that again, and find my strength, find my security again in myself, and not doubt myself again, and like really took my power back.
Yeah. Wow. That is amazing because a lot of people struggle to go through all of that and still find their power. But I think there's something built in you that you just have this method of, letting yourself go through that pain, but at the same time, knowing how to become painless is the way I always say to people. You let yourself go through pain because I think pain is inevitable. We all have to go through pain, and it's the pain is there to teach us something about ourselves. You learn something about yourself, and then if you're smart about it, you become painless and you become a better person as well. In much
Mhm.
better, not just for yourself, but people around you. And
Yeah.
our final question is that in everything going on, what's your hope for the future?
Oh boy. Well, I hope for more unity across our entire world. Like, I'm an optimistic person. I like to look at things so positively. And it's hard for me to accept that the world is so cruel, so negative, so hateful. Like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I believe that mankind is good. I believe most people are great. And I think that it's just, this media that we are surrounded by every second of every day, no matter where you're at, it's coming at you, that we need to make sure when we're viewing things, consuming things, that they're positive things. Because even when you are a positive person and you focus on a negative story, that changes how you feel, how you think. You need to, I always tell people about when we're talking about social media and what you're feeding yourself. It's like, if you are a plus size woman and you are following skinny supermodels, you're going to feel bad about yourself every single day you go through that feed.
Mm,
It's like, follow plus size models that you admire, that have your mindset, have your values, have your, and that someone you can identify with. You want to be able to identify with them. And I think it's so important that the world, like, we need to come together. We need to, like, I can't even put it into words how much I want that for the world. Because to
right.
think that you see this new normal and you see what's going on, and it's just, some days it can feel so hopeless. But then you hear these stories of people doing good things in it, and it's like, yes, we have to start making the good stories overshadow all the negativity, bring it back around. And let's hope that the rest of this year and 2021 give
Mm,
us that opportunity to start healing and moving forward in a positive path.
that is so true. That is absolutely my own vision as well, my own hope for the future, because I think with all the negativity, we only need healing right now because so much has happened in 2020 that's, divided everyone from, is it from the pandemic, from elections, from, so much issue around the world. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So we just hope for that. And thank thank you so much, Tania, so much for this time. I really enjoyed that conversation because I must say I learned a lot from you and I find hope just listening to you. And I'm sure everyone else who will listen will find the same amount of hope. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thanks again for having me. It was so delightful meeting you.
Most welcome. Thank you.